Hello, welcome back to the Coralogix DataPrime Academy course. So far, we've learned the DataPrime basic syntax. We've used the AI assistant. Now I want us to make it even more independent. I want us to use the DataPrime help system. So in the Coralogix UI, we're in the DataPrime query here. We've got the help button there, and that will bring up a help UI. And this is fantastic for your learning. So this essentially is like a dictionary for DataPrime. It'll give you all of the available commands, functions, operators, different syntax patterns, structure examples, real working queries that you can copy and modify yourself. So yes, fantastic to have this open while you're trying to explore the DataPrime language. We're going to use this to build out some queries. I'm going to use some code comments as well. Yes, we support code comments, so //. Let's look at front end front end HTTP errors, and let's begin. So as always, source logs, and let's go in 4-hour range, last 4 hours, and let's pipe, and we're going to use our trusty filter command. And as we know, this is going to be a label for the front end, so $L. Let's do subsystem name and equals to front end. And there's our IntelliSense always guiding us with the real data that we have, which is really helpful. Pipe and another filter. We're going to do $D. For data, HTTP response. Okay, so response status, and we want that to be showing some data. We're going to use null again like we have before. Fantastic. Okay, now let's have a look at the cheat sheet to help us for our next thing. So I want to be looking at what kind of data types we have, because I want to look for status codes above 400. So let's just have a look at data types here. We can see that these are all what's supported. We have string, numbers, Boolean values, null, timestamp, and interval. So I know that I can go off and grab another pipe, filter by some data, and that data is going to be the HTTP response status as before, and we know that is going to be a type of number. So now you can see that, and there's our IntelliSense helping us again. Fantastic. And I want to do greater than 400. Okay, so let's take us on to the new line. Now, I want to group this, use some aggregation. So let's look that up in our cheat sheet. We have operators here, aggregate. Okay, we can see that there. Actually, I want to use group by. So let's scroll down. There we go, group by. Okay, so with group by, we can see the key paths for the grouping expressions will always be under $D. Using the as keyword, we can rename the key path for the grouping, expressions, and aggregate functions, which is all that we want to do here. So I want to take that then. I'm going to use group by. Oh, sorry, we need to use a pipe here. Group by. And I am going to be using $D. Yes, $D. Grabbing that HTTP response status. Setting it as error code. And then I want to use the aggregate function, and I want to use the count. Again, that is all putting that through, tab, complete that, fantastic. And that's going to be as key path error count. There we go. And let's actually put an inline comment. We support inline comments as well. So let's go with hash and by error code. Okay, and let's use shift enter to run this. And there we go. We have error codes of 500 and a count of 21. Before I close out this module, I want to touch briefly on scan limits and query efficiency. DataPrime has built-in protections to ensure system performance and fair resource usage. I think in one of our first episodes, we ran the query source logs last 4 hours, and that returned over 3.5 million log entries, which would very quickly get you a scan limit exceeded, and that means your results will only contain partial data. How to counteract that? Use the limit function. You can limit your results to 100. That's very good for exploration purposes. Now, what drives data volume? The key insight is all about how much data you're processing. The biggest way you can impact that is by setting the time range. And then the next way would be, equality filters. So things like we used before, like the filter for setting the subsystem name to specifically the front end. That's very selective. We've also looked at a certain error code over a certain value. Again, it's very specific. You can also use things like range pattern filters as well, like things like regex. But the key principle is to focus on data selectivity. So how much data does each filter eliminate? And then DataPrime's optimizer will automatically handle the query structure and the execution order for you. So don't worry about that. Let's recap the finish. Best practices for efficiency: setting time ranges, filter selectivity, equality filters are the most efficient, choose wisely, select only the fields you need for analysis, monitor the scan volume, and use that limit function. So that's the essential tools for DataPrime success. I challenge you to go off and build out your own queries, document them using code comments, use the help guide, and I will see you in the next module where we'll dive deep into filtering and data selection, building on these efficiency principles we've already established, and we're going to master DataPrime's filtering capabilities.